The top high school cross-country athletes in the country, running in the most competitive, wide-open field in the 27-year history of the sport's most prestigious event. FSN presents the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships. And welcome to beautiful Balboa Park in San Diego. Matt Vasgersian alongside Susie Favor-Hamilton and 80 of the best high school cross-country athletes in the country. The 27th year of this event, Susie, and it's really the biggest event of the year in cross-country.
This is like the Olympics for cross-country high school running. This is a very exciting meet. So if you've never been to Foot Locker, it's something you've got to get here. And these kids train really, really hard. This is the cream of the crop of high school runners that are here. So you're going to see a fantastic race today.
And this crop was set with qualifying races going on in 4 regions, so these are the top finishers in each of the 4 regions, Susan.
Yeah, as you can see, we have all the different types of weather conditions here that the kids are running in. And in the Midwest, they have the snow, rough conditions.
This field returns its defending champion. Ashlyn Ryan is back to try to make it 2 in a row.
Right. Ashlyn, tough runner. You know what? She won it last year, but I don't think that's going to faze her a bit. She's not going to be coming in with a lot of pressure. She's a very relaxed runner, aggressive, has a good head on her shoulders. So I think she's going to do great things today.
I feel like there's so many girls in this race that they have such great backgrounds and stuff like that I don't feel like all the eyes are on me. I mean, there's a lot of great girls in there, and some people are afraid of certain people because of their weaknesses, and I don't think it's all on me.
Ashlyn also has a great list of accomplishments. She's the indoor 2-mile national champion in 2005.
It's really a great field trying to chase her, to knock her off the hill, so to speak. Nicole Blood is an athlete that's been here now for 4 straight years, and really an unusual story this year as she has concentrated solely on this event and kind of took time away from her high school program.
She has. You know, Nicole is a very popular runner among the high school kids. She has her own website. Nicole is a very experienced runner now. This is her 4th year here. She knows what she wants to do. She's coming into this race very focused, and she wants to accomplish really good things, and I feel like this is her year.
It's national championship, and you know, I've never even made it to the top 5, and I've been a favorite for, I know, at least the past 3 years. So I definitely like to, you know, run to my capability, because the past few years I don't think I have.
We mentioned Nicole leaving her high school program in Saratoga Springs, and she had to race against some of her former teammates in the qualifying race from that region, with Nicole winning that qualifying race. The other member of our broadcast team is 2-time Olympian Alan Culpepper, and he's standing by with Nicole's new coach.
I'm here with Bob Lane, the coach of one of the favorites, Nicole Blood. Preparation-wise, as Nicole prepared a little bit differently this year versus the other years, and I know this race has a lot of stress that comes along with it, being the national championship, and she hasn't fared as well as she maybe hoped in the past. And do you feel like she, is coming in with the hopes of winning, or is she just hoping to have a solid race?
Right. I think when you consider where Nicole's come from, running for the most successful girls program in the country, has its pluses and minuses for her individually. That they're very successful, but it's a lot of races coming to the end of the season. And I think this year her preparation has been more training with fewer races, and she's coming in fresh. So I think that should help.
Alan, thanks. The West, a particularly strong region in this year's race, and some newer faces from the Western region, including an athlete that tied a course record in the regional, Jordan Hasse from Mission College Prep in Arroyo Grande, California.
Matt, we also have Marie Lawrence, who is the runner-up at the Foot Locker Championship for the last 2 years, so we have to keep our eye on her, too. And Marie also has a twin brother and a sister who also ran at this competition. As a junior, she's got a veteran, casual attitude, and we asked her earlier about her experiences at Foot Locker.
It's so much fun. The race is really important naturally, but you just think about the dance afterward and the activities before, and we always joke around, we're so excited for the dance, well, the race too, but I think it's a really good experience. It's a lot of fun.
Another West favorite is Ann St. Jim, one of 2 runners that qualified via the Nike Team Nationals.
Ann's from Newport Beach, California, which is one of the better teams in the country. And it's interesting because her mom, Cece St. Jim, who used to be Cece Hop, won this race back in 1980, the second time they ran this championship. She went on to be a national champion and one of America's best runners.
If she is in full glory back in 1980, 25 years later, she's here to catch up with Susie.
What is it like now to have your daughter here running? Are you more nervous for her, or were you more nervous for yourself when you were running those other competitions?
Well, I'm definitely more nervous for my daughter, because when you're doing it yourself, you have control, and I have no control over what she does out there. I can't run the race for her.
Is there any advice that you give to her?
You know, I have two daughters that run for the Corona Del Mar High School team, and I run with them and I help coach. They have their own coach, though, at the high school, and I give them tips, but I'm still mom, so we have to kind of switch back and forth from coach to mom in the different roles, and they've been really good about it. It's probably made me closer to them as teenagers than I would have been if we didn't have the sport to share.
And Cece's still a great runner, so how does Ann handle the legacy pressure of having mom so successful?
I think it's only helped me. I mean, it hasn't hurt me at all. Everything I've learned about running, I've learned from my mom. And I've always gotten the question, you know, do you feel pressure to live up to what your mom did? And I just use everything that she's done in the past as just a benchmark for myself, a way to set my goals.
The winner out of the Midwest Regional that came on a snowy day in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Kira Salmons from Aurora, Colorado, Smoky Hill High School, a very good program there. She has to be considered a favorite. She's a returnee, finishing 11th last year. The South Regional was held under much more favorable weather conditions in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Nicole Jones was the winner.
She represented the U.S. in the World Junior Championships this summer, running the 1,500 meters. This is also her first cross-country season. She's mainly a track runner, so these girls need to look out for her at the end because she's going to have a strong kick.
From Westfield High in Houston, Texas, Nicole Jones highlights a very strong Southern Regional. Stick around, we'll have the opening gun and the girls' race when we come back right after this.
I was standing in that box,
telling myself, I belong here. I've worked for this.
You just feel your heart pounding. When that gun goes off,
instincts take over.
You're going tree to tree.
Stay focused, keeping the pressure on, keeping the pressure on.
My heart is pumping really fast.
And the crowd is going crazy. I remember making a real bold move. It just blew the race wide open.
You just see that tape coming.
Keep running and don't look back.
It's solidified in my mind that I can compete with anyone.
The Foot Locker Cross Country Championships from Balboa Park, California, brought to you by Foot Locker. And by Nike Running. Just do it. Back alongside Susie Faber-Hamilton and Alan Culpepper, Matt Vasgersian, we are waiting for the opening gun of the girls' race. And they're off.
The girls' championship final is underway.
Talk about how important the start is, if at all, here, guys.
Well, it's really important to get a good position early. You don't want to be overly aggressive, though, and go out too hard and burn yourself out. The thing is, we have a long ways to go, and there's plenty of time to make up room. So, you know, take your time, be relaxed.
What's interesting with this course is because it is a pretty significant downhill at the beginning. So the girls, you can tell by their turnover, they're definitely getting after it, and I think the early pace is going to be a little quick, actually.
And it looks like Ashlyn Ryan, last year's winner, who has taken the front of the pack early.
She did the same strategy last year. Took it out early, hard, really pressed the pace. It looks like she's going after that same strategy.
Some athletes definitely feel more comfortable when they're in the front. That's the way they run at home. They're used to leading races. These athletes are the best in the country, so at home, they are head and shoulders above their other kids that they race against daily. So some of them you'll feel more comfortable in this type of situation, actually.
Now, what kind of opportunity do these runners have to come out here and work this course in advance of the race today?
They all got a chance yesterday to walk over the course, jog over it, get a really good feel for the course, and check out all the turns and the hills and different positions where they want to make their moves. So they really have a good idea of this whole course.
It is still Ashlyn Ryan with a little distance. We are early in the girls' race.
We have Nicole Jones coming up from behind, too. Now, she's the one I was telling you about with the good speed, the miler.
Alan, talk a little bit about course specifics here at Balboa Park.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, there's a downhill at the beginning, but really the key element of this course is the steep uphill that comes just past the mile mark. it's a 2-loop course, so these athletes have to go up that steep hill twice, and that's usually what separates the field.
Both of you guys have run this course. Uphill, downhill, is it a common sense thing? Which direction is easiest to go?
For me, it was always the downhill was the easiest because I have a good leg turnover, so I was able to pass a lot of people on that downhill.
Yeah, it's interesting. Every athlete has different strengths and weaknesses. Some are more rhythm runners, so when it's flat and when it's on the packed ground on the grass, they can actually feel a lot more comfortable, whereas other athletes are strong on the hills, and they're going to really make their move while going up the hills.
And the defending champ, senior Ashlyn Ryan, still in front of the pack.
In second, we have Bridget Fronick. Now, she's a senior out of the Midwest, and she also holds the state mile record. So again, we got another speed runner up here. Looks like in third, we have Marie Lawrence, very consistent runner, been runner up here 2 times in a row.
I just want to stay consistent. Like, I don't want to get first one year and then kind of drop back. I just want to stay consistent. So if it means getting another second place, I actually wouldn't be that upset. I'd be pretty happy.
Looks like they passed their first half mile in about 2:32, which is really quick, actually. So Ashlyn is really taking it out to a hard pace. She's trying to take the sting a little bit out of some of these other athletes.
I think we're going to begin to see the race really string out now with this fast pace.
Let's talk about being the pace setter. If you're leading the pack at about the mile mark, plenty of race left, I mean, is that a good spot to be in, or would you rather be just off the lead looking to make a move?
Well, it's always nice to be drafting behind somebody. That definitely saves energy, and but if you're a strong, confident runner and you've won this race in the past, go for it. She is very confident. You can tell in her running right from the gun. She is taking no prisoners. She's going for it.
Well, Ashlyn Ryan took no prisoners last year in round 2, a win. We caught up with her in her home of Bellevale, New York, Warwick Valley High, where she trains with her friends and teammates, and we asked her to comment on last year's big win.
Winning Foot Locker, I think that spiritually everything has to connect, and I was just really happy that everything worked out. Meb Kufleski told me just run to win. That's like a slogan. I really like that. And my coach first, he always says, just be yourself. I think that's good advice, because if you're trying to do other things for other people, it's just not going to work out. You just have to use your personality the best that you can and just run it the way you have to run it. So.
Ashlyn not only enjoys the competition, but the camaraderie of her high school teammates. Here's her high school coach, Richard First.
She doesn't focus on herself. She focuses on the team, and that really helps, because everyone knows that they're in this together. It's not just a one-girl show.
Having Ashlyn on the team gives us motivation to be better. We follow her, and we're just really close, and I think that's what helps.
Going off the line, we always do a huddle and say a little prayer together, and we write on our hands motivational words, and just to let each other know that we're all there doing the same thing, pulling each other through it.
Well, I have to admit, the first time I went, I did do a huddle by myself, but I don't know, I know that they're all supporting me, and the fact that they're not next to me doesn't mean that they're not there with me in spirit. My friends, they just loosen me up. Like, I would be all tight without them, but they're all kidding around and telling me, it's not a big deal and stuff like that, and it really helps me out. Running from all the hard practices that I've done and channeling it to this one race, just doing the best that I can and running for my team, my family, because they're all supporting me, and basically just proving myself that I could do it, proving to myself, my friends, my family.
And Ashlyn Ryan perhaps en route to proving it again, still leading with Bridget Fronick in second place, and Nicole Jones has made a move into third here, guys.
They're coming up on the mile mark. Right when they cross the road, they'll hit the mile. And then this is really when the real racing begins. They're going to go up the hill, the steep hill for the first time, levels off, and then they have a steep downhill. So really, this is when the race starts to get mixed up and really start to see the main contenders present themselves. And they just passed the mile marker in 5:18, which is still a very quick pace. So it's going to be interesting now as we start to go up the big hill how this race unfolds.
This is it. Let's see what you got, ladies. The hill, the first time up.
This hill's a little deceiving. It isn't as long as it looks. It's a short hill, so you can get up that quick, and then you have that whole top to coast before you're downhill.
You can see the pace really slow down. They really start to, gear it down into second and first gear here.
It's really steep right there. You could almost walk that little corner there. It's so steep.
Again, Ashlyn Ryan still in front. You can see the front of the pack changing its face a little bit now. That's Jordan Hussey, the diminutive Arroyo Grande high school student out of Mission College Prep, the freshman.
Coming up on her is Hannah Griniker from Minnesota.
Fans getting a better look, and we'll be back with more looks at the girls' race right after this. Welcome back to Balboa Park in San Diego. The girls' event not quite half done, about a third of the way through the course. And still Ashlyn Ryan out in front, and there's Jordan Hussey, who we talked about earlier, who's taken over second place at this point.
Jordan is only a freshman. This is her first year here. And I think she's very excited to be here.
Now, is the pack as close as you'd expect it to be at this point in the race, Alan?
It is, yeah. This is still early. And as you can see now, Ashlyn Ryan's going down the very steep downhill. You can tell by how long her stride is. This hill is uncomfortably steep, actually, and running downhill is an acquired skill.
It looks like she's kind of lost her footing in a couple places, like there's rough footing underneath her.
When it looks like Marie Lawrence has really made her move on the downhill here into second place.
Yeah, Marie knows this course very well, and she is not going to hold back at all. We talked to her, and she's going to run this very, very aggressive. She's going with the leader. She's not going to hold back one bit.
And there's Jordan Hussey, right, matching the move as well. Seems like those three have just slightly separated themselves as they make that sharp turn.
Jordan just passed Marie, coming up in second now. You know, Jordan looks really relaxed. I mean, it really looks effortless for her.
She is, her small stature and her frame almost makes it appear as though she's just running on air. I mean, she's not working hard at all.
But then you have Ashlyn here. I mean, she looks like she's running a lot harder. But you know what? She looks like a true cross-country runner.
Yeah, she's definitely more of a heel striker. Her knees don't come up quite as high, which for cross-country, that tends to be more of an advantage. You're not wasting as much motion. Your foot hits the ground a little more solid, so it's not getting shifted around. They just passed the halfway mark in 8:09, so that was 2:51 for that third half mile. So they're definitely slowing down, but let's keep in mind that they went up the steep hill for that section.
It's a hill they'll have to negotiate once more as Jordan Hussey makes her move on the leader.
You know, when you look at Ashlyn's feet, there really isn't any airtime in there. Her feet are hitting the ground as fast as possible, and that's the sign of a true cross-country runner.
It is a very low stride, to your point.
And that was Nicole Blood just passing by. Looked like she was about in 10th place, so we'll see how she fares.
Marie Lawrence in third place.
We have Megan O'Reilly in the sunglasses coming up in fourth.
There's definitely a lot of black uniforms up there, which is an indicator that the West team is running well, as they usually do. There's always this little bit of a discussion that goes on every year of, well, is the West at a disadvantage because they ran their regional just 1 week ago, whereas everyone else had 2 weeks to recover. That being because the California State Championship falls 2 weeks before this championship. Obviously, the West runs well here every year, so I really don't think it is a disadvantage. It could be that they have the least amount of distance to travel, really.
And the West running well today. Jordan Hussey and Marie Lawrence have passed the defending champ, and they're stride for stride atop your leaderboard.
Now, Megan O'Reilly, she's a two-time 2-mile state champion and also a border class champion, state cross-country championship. This girl has a lot to her resume.
Well, definitely those four have separated themselves. And Jordan Hussey looks to be really pressing the pace at this point to string those four out.
All West leading the pack as Megan O'Reilly has made her way into third place, meaning Ashlyn Ryan is dropping to fourth. And does that mean she's starting to fade, guys?
You know, maybe it's just showing that Ashlyn took out the pace really hard, and maybe it's starting to affect her a little bit. But sometimes in a race, when you go out too hard, you just need a little time to get your composure, relax a little bit. Maybe that's what she's doing.
So it's the little freshman Jordan Hussey that's taken over the lead and doesn't look like she plans on relinquishing anytime soon.
Yeah, Jordan ran a tough race out in Mount Sac where she ran the regional. She tied a very tough course record there.
Oh, look in red. Here comes Ashlyn.
So I guess she is feeling a little bit better. There are points in races, actually, where you have good and bad patches. and she must have been going through a little bit of a bad patch, and now she's feeling better because she's definitely pressing again.
Yeah, look at now. She's really starting to make a move.
Maybe the West made her mad. Ashlyn Ryan back into second place over Marie Lawrence.
Boy, this is turning into a really good race.
But a lot of distance now between Jordan Hussey and the rest of the field. It is a very distant second for Ashlyn Ryan and or Marie Lawrence. The freshman Jordan Hussey, and Susie, it's just amazing. She hasn't even grown into her body yet, and she is just smoking this field.
You know, she is obviously so confident in her ability. She has no problem leading the national championship right now. She's a confident young runner, and her form is incredible.
Alan, too early for a move like this, or is she going so good that it just doesn't matter?
Well, she ran a similar race, as I said, at the Mount Sac course just a week ago, where she took off and she never looked back. So she must be feeling good. But she has to remember that there are some veterans behind her who have run well on this course before and know the ins and outs of it.
Can the freshman hold on? The finish is coming up next.
I was standing in that box.
Telling myself, I belong here. I've worked for this.
You just feel your heart pounding. When that gun goes off,
Instincts take over.
you're going tree to tree.
Stay focused, keeping the pressure on, keeping the pressure
My
on.
heart is pumping really
And the
fast.
crowd is going crazy. I remember making a real bold move. It just blew the race wide open.
You just see that tape coming.
Keep running and don't look back.
It's solidified in my mind that I can compete with anyone.
Welcome back to the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships from Balboa Park in San Diego. We are into the final stretch of the girls' race, and it has been the Jordan Hussey show since about halfway through the course. She has really opened a big lead on the rest of the field as she's coming down the hill for the second time and really starting to cruise, guys.
She's definitely opening up. This is the last part of the race. This is where she can feel that she's getting close to the end. There's your leaders. There's your top 4 women that have pretty much separated themselves since halfway in the race, and things really haven't changed since then.
And really the story here as well, Susie, it's a freshman who's leading a field of upperclassmen here.
You know, she just looks unbelievable. And you know, she's run this race so smart. She hung back in the beginning to conserve and just took off and never looked back. And look at how strong she is at the finish. I mean, she barely looks tired.
About 100 meters to go. The fans can sense that Jordan Hussey is about to pull off a huge victory here, and as a freshman, comes to Foot Locker and wins the championship.
She looks unbelievable. She has dominated.
Jordan Hussey, one of the youngest Foot Locker winners in its 27-year race history.
And Jordan's finishing time of 17:05 is very fast. One of the fastest time we've seen here in the last few years. Almost 30 seconds faster than last year.
Ellen in second place is Marie Lawrence for the 3rd year in a row. She definitely has run consistent.
Jordan, get over here. Give us a hug. Yeah, baby.
An elated winner, Jordan Hussey, receiving congratulations from her coaches, from her family.
Oh my gosh.
Ashlyn Ryan will finish in 3rd place and do so, guys, in about the same time that she won it in last year.
And that's Megan O'Reilly in 4th, running a solid race.
Oh, St. Jim just fell. She's getting back up, but she's having a tough one.
And St. Jim, she was in, it looked like about 6th place coming down the home stretch, and she collapsed, and about 6 runners went past her. It's really unfortunate.
All about Jordan Hussey, and Susie's with the winner.
How were you feeling today during the race? What was going through your mind at the start?
Well, on the start line, as soon as I start, I can tell if I'm going to have a good race or a bad race usually, just how my body feels. And then I start, and I could tell that I was going to have a good race. So
you felt it right away, right from the start. You knew.
Well, I didn't know I was going to win, but I knew I was going to do well.
Awesome race.
Shake them. We're good.
You good, kid?
She's good.
Allen's with the 2nd place finisher, Marie Lawrence.
The early pace that Ashlyn Ryan set, did that make you a little nervous going out so quickly, or did you feel confident in that with that early quick pace?
I felt pretty comfortable because I know Ashlyn's a really smart racer and she's an amazing girl, and I was really happy she set the pace. I didn't want to, and I don't think Jordan wanted to. We just kind of wanted to hang on and see like how everybody's doing. But I'm so proud of Jordan. She's like an amazing runner, and she totally deserves it. Like to be this good as a freshman, she's amazing.
So after the top 4, it was Karin Tarver from California and Danielle Taro from New Jersey rounding out the top 6. A third-place finish for Ashlyn Ryan, who's standing by with Susie.
Deja vu, we're doing this again from last year. Hey, what a great race. You ran really, really strong. And, you know, I admire you because you're a gutsy runner. You just go out from the start, and you don't hold anything back. What was your strategy today?
Basically leave the course having no regrets. Know that I did everything I could, and basically choose pain of victory over the pain of defeat.
That's really good. That's very good. And you know what? You looked really strong. How did you feel today?
My legs got sore, like a lot sooner than they did last year, but you know, that's the way it is, so it feels good though.
Hey, you should be very, very proud of yourself, and to come back as, you know, winning this and coming back, it's not an easy job, and you just handle yourself in an amazing way, and I think you ran a gutsy race.
Thank you very much.
Great job.
You think I gave it wrong?
Thank you.
So the girls' race is finished. The boys coming up in just a short moment. First, this reminder, the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships are brought to you by JetBlue. We like you too.
I fly to California about 14 times a month.
Why?
Because that's where the planes go.
We take off, we fly around for a while, and then we land. Wow. Somewhere else.
When the plane is ready to board, I usually say something like, "The plane is now ready to board."
You're a communicator.
When people fly, they expect their bags to go with them.
It's not rocket science, it's JetBlue.
No wonder over 33 million customers have embraced the JetBlue experience.
Not just leather seats, reclining leather seats.
At JetBlue, we like you too.
Welcome back to San Diego's Balboa Park and our coverage of the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships. A lot of past winners here, including one of only a handful of two-time winners and one of the many Nike athletes on hand, Dathan Ritzenheim. So a great finish by the girls, as always. And Alan, how does the race run a little differently now with the boys, given it's the same course? It's technically a little different story now.
Yeah, boys and girls typically race a little bit differently. The women, they tend to assert themselves a little bit earlier in the race, as we saw with Ashlyn Ryan, taking it out hard but still finishing well in third place. The men, historically, whoever's leading at the mile doesn't win this race. So it'll be interesting to see how they feed off each other, but typically they pack together a little bit more, and it doesn't unfold until later in the race who the winner's going to be.
Let's talk about the field specifically. Muhammad Igi, a guy who's a favorite out of Colorado, running from the Midwest region.
Seems like he's matured a lot from last year to this year. Last year, he took the race out hard, pushed the pace early, paid for that by finishing 13th. This year, he says he feels very confident. He says he's going to hang back a little bit more and run a little bit more conservatively at the beginning. So we'll see how that unfolds for him.
Not just limited to cross-country athletes, we asked Muhammad who his heroes are in life.
Our team from the West?
My mom, she inspired me real much. I mean, being a father and a mother, it's kind of hard for her. My dad died when I was young, so for her to come out of Africa to bring us to Colorado or USA, it was really inspiration for me. So that's one thing that motivates me to continue stay running and to actually do for her and do for me. I mean, and my dad, if only my dad was here to see what I'm doing, it would have been nice. But yeah, I guess they are my heroes. And running-wise, Prefontaine is my hero.
Another pre-race favorite comes from the South, running out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, Michael Eaton.
Michael Eaton ran really well in the South region. He tied the course record. He seems like he's extremely fit. He was 33rd here last year, so I think he has the experience to come in and be a champion.
Last year, I came out and really didn't expect to do well. Didn't really have much confidence that I was going to place well, so I came out just to have a good time and went out harder, told all my friends I'd just get TV time, which I did, but that was kind of cool. But I guess this year, just the big difference is confidence-wise. I think I can do a lot better this year, and I think that affects how I'm going to run and how I plan to race.
Also worth watching out of the Northeastern Division, racing out of Cushing Academy in Massachusetts, Ayelu Taye, who is here, greeted by his brother, Sintayehu Taye, also racing out of the Northeast.
Both brothers originate from Ethiopia, one of the greatest running nations in the world, and they've been in the U.S. for about 3 years now.
Now, the West Regional race really shaped up to be something interesting.
It was. The top 8 broke away fairly early, and they started talking to each other, saying simply, hey, let's conserve our energy for next week, let's take it easy. Once we get to the finish where they finished on a track, we'll kick it in, we'll see who the champion is.
Yeah, because they moved in a pack, the 7th place finisher from the regional, Diego Mercado, may have a very good chance in this. He's racing with his twin brother, Danny, and wants to do better than where he placed last year.
I was starstruck. Like, I just oh, I'm running next to this guy, and you know, so that kind of messed with my head a little bit, and you can't let those things get to you, because once you get to this level, you are as good or better than these guys. So you need to realize that you're on that level too, and you can't put these guys on a pedestal.
And finally, a local favorite. He's really turned into a big story. A lot of enthusiasm generated around Oceanside, California's A.J. Acosta.
A.J. Nation, as they say it. He's a wild man, and he ran well at the regionals, and so you can't count him out. He's also been here before. Experience plays a big role in running well in this course, so he's definitely one to watch.
Well, the AJ Nation made a strong showing in last year's event. They're back in full force in 2005, and we asked AJ himself how he takes to having such a big fan base.
It motivates me a lot to know that, you know, I have all those people out there and can't let them down, you know. Just to have all, I guess you can call them my fans out there and supporting me makes me feel good that, you know, I'm doing something right, you know, you know, just, you know, it's my hometown, so I'd hope that people would come out and, you know, come cheer me on. I'm very outspoken. I like to kind of, you know, lay what I'm going to do out on the table, and you know, it just makes it more interesting. You know, people get excited about that, and I think you know, everyone, you know, if everyone gets talking about it, more people are going to get interested in it, and you know, you just have more people following. And you know, there might be some people that hate me for it, but I don't care. You know, it's one of those things where I'm not going to worry about it. If you know, if they don't like me, it's not a big deal.
In addition to being a favorite, A.J. Acosta is a leader around whom the rest of the team has rallied.
Jeff, we need...
Ready? Come on, Jeff.
Down by the banks of the hanky-pank, where the bullfrogs jump from bank to bank, gonna hip-hop, stop, one hit the water and one curve plop. Yeah!
You know, I really like the camaraderie that comes with cross-country. You know, it's a big team aspect, and you know, it's you know, just have I call them my boys, my teammates. You know, to have your boys out there, it kind of makes you accountable for each other out there, and you know, it's you know, you share that bond with track. It's kind of like you, it's mano a mano pretty much, you against someone else, and you know, I have fun with that, but I definitely like the team aspect more with cross country.
All right, trust your training, guys. You know what we gotta do? You know what we came here to do, all right? You guys have made this far. You're the strongest for us in the West, all right? Yeah. Let's go out there and show them that we're the best in the West, all right? Let's go. West on 3. 1, 2, 3, West!
So you've met just a few of the top boys cross-country athletes in the country. The boys race, the opening gun, coming up next. Welcome back to Balboa Park and the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships. We're ready for the boys' starter's pistol. The fans are certainly ready. An enthusiastic crowd for both the girls and boys. Matt Vasgersian back with Alan Culpepper and Susie Faber-Hamilton.
You know, the athletes right now are feeling nervous and tense, and they just can't wait till the gun goes off.
And they are on their way at Balboa Park.
Looks like that's Colby Lowe from the South region in the green uniform that's taking it out to a very quick early pace. Looks like he's sprinting. He's one of the only 2 sophomores in the boys race.
Colby Lowe racing out of Carroll High in South Lake, Texas, and he's got the Mercado twins, Danny and Diego, out of West Covina right on his heels.
As we said in the girls' race, the beginning is slightly downhill. It's a pretty good downhill, and it goes for about a quarter mile, so they usually get out fairly quickly and string the field out.
You know, as was the case with the girls, these are the top runners in the country. And I don't know that one or any of them are used to looking up and finding so many other athletes in front of him in line.
And you know what? This is great. Going into college, a lot of these kids now have to get used to running against a lot of really good competition and people that are of their same caliber. And this is just a good preparation for that.
These national championship high school races actually are a good test to see who is mentally the toughest, because the cream usually rises to the top. In this race where every kid in here is a state champ, everyone is the best that they're used to running against, all of a sudden they're surrounded by other great athletes. It's always interesting to see how they respond to that.
Well, the West so far responding well for the boys, and we have Diego Mercado out in front of the pack with his brother Danny not far off the pace, and AJ Acosta, the local favorite from Oceanside, California, is right in the top 3 as well.
I also see Daniel Roberts, who trains in Crested Butte, Colorado, where he goes to school. He's right up there in the mix as well.
The AJ Nation as enthusiastic as ever, and it is AJ Acosta who's taken over the early lead from Diego Mercado.
I think AJ brought his whole high school out to this race, or maybe the whole town of San Diego came here.
It would seem. I mean, he has all kinds of enthusiasm in the crowd. Mercado back in front now. Kind of some early jockeying between West teammates.
They just passed a half mile in 2:10, which is 4:20 mile pace. That's very, very fast. That's about a minute faster than the course record on this exact course. So Mercado is definitely taking it out.
So is there any way they can keep that pace up?
Definitely not. No, it's certainly a matter of early nerves, and they like to get out and just see how they feel, but there's no way they could keep that pace up. They're definitely going to settle in, and especially when they start to go up the hill just past the mile mark.
So how tough is it on the early leader, given the pace, to sustain it?
Well, as I said pre-race, it's very unlikely that the leader at the mile wins this race. That's just, with this caliber of a field, every kid, as I said, is a state champion. So you're dealing with the best of the best in the whole country. So it's very unlikely that the early leaders are going to win this race.
The early leader is Diego Mercado. As you can see, the rest of the field behind him, still very early in the boys' race.
Looks like AJ is leading the race at this point.
Passed a mile in 4:32, so they did slow down, but not too much. That's still very quick. Now you can tell that they're going up the steep part of the hill. This is the steepest grade. As Susie said earlier, it's not that long, but it's very, very steep. They're going to turn, and then they have a flat section at the top.
Michael Eaton on the outside in the green jersey trying to make a move on the top of the pack.
Michael Eaton, the South champion who set the course record, and multi-time state champion in Kentucky.
I talked to Michael on Thursday when he got here, and he was telling me that he's definitely looking forward to the race. Last year he came here nervous. This year he's just a lot more confident, a lot more relaxed. So he's really excited to see what he can do.
And running in 4th place behind AJ Acosta, who's back out in front, and the Mercado twins. Landon Peacock in the blue jersey, just off the lead, a senior out of Cedar Springs High School in Michigan.
Landon ran right with Mohamed Igi in the regional and really pushed him to a fast time in the finish. Mohamed and him pretty much pulled away the entire race. That's Benjamin Sittler also is right up in the mix, who is second at the region right behind AJ Acosta. Benjamin told me that he wanted to basically key off the Mercados and off of AJ Acosta since they have run this course before.
The runners from the West really pushing the pace. Michael Eaton representing the South, trying to get into the mix. More as the boys continue from Balboa Park on the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships right after this. Welcome back to the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships in San Diego. With Ted Roth from the San Diego International Sports Council. And Ted, this event has been held here for a long time. I know the kids all look forward to coming to San Diego every year.
Yeah, Matt, it's a great event for San Diego and for the kids that come. It is the only true national high school championship, and we always look forward to it every year, and I'm sure that all of the people that come to see our great city enjoy it also.
Back to race coverage now, and we find AJ Acosta opening up a bit larger lead. And as we watch AJ race here, guys, I can't help but think about how this being a home course for him, to a degree, he lives 30 minutes away from here, has to be to his advantage.
There's no doubt he races on this course a lot, so that definitely gives him a huge advantage. He knows the hills, he knows the downhills, he knows where to make his move. It's just a real big advantage for him.
We're basically passing the halfway point in the race, and I have this bad feeling that AJ's trying to prove me wrong. He must have heard my pre-race talking about how you can't lead and win, because he's definitely making a statement. He's put about a 30-meter lead on the rest of the field at this point, which is all West runners, including the blue, is Landon Peacock.
Well, he's trying to kill a couple of stereotypes here. One of them is that the guy that always has the hoopla and the fun around him isn't really a serious contender to win the thing. AJ looks every bit as serious as anybody else today.
He certainly does, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see how he holds on. He looks like he's laboring ever so slightly, but he's still maintaining that lead that he's opened up.
It's a lead over Michael Coe, Ben Sittler, and Danny Mercado, as you can see.
Michael Coe's really moved his way up through the field. He's more of a track specialty runner. He's never even run the 3,200 meter on the track. Looks like he's dropping his arms to shake out a little bit, but he looks smooth at this point, and he's opened up a lead on third, fourth, and fifth.
You mentioned him dropping his arms. Susie, talk a little bit about the form of our leader, AJ Acosta. It looks like he's got his head on a swivel, almost the way a linebacker's coach teaches high school football players to stay loose.
You know, his head bobbles a little bit, but everybody does that when you get tired. And his arm carry is really, really nice. He looks totally relaxed and at ease, and like this is a piece of cake for him. I like his leg lift. He's not over-exaggerating it at all. He's touching the ground as quick as he can, so he can move that body really fast. He really is an efficient runner.
We asked him earlier about his strategy for the race.
Yeah, I usually like to make a move, right in that middle mile. It's just I'm a pretty big kicker, so I don't have to go out hard and hope that no one catches me. I've run 50 point for the quarter. I've run 153 for the half. So, I have pretty good leg speed, more so than a lot of these guys.
Well, he better be confident in his kick because he has Michael Coe right behind him. He just took a quick glance over his shoulder. Michael Coe has very good finishing speed. He's a 154 half miler. There's Landon Peacock in the blue, Danny Mercado, Sittler, and that's actually Mohamed Iggy, who's moved up really well through the field.
Now, AJ, 1K. 1K at work. Michael Coe coming on you, AJ. Michael Coe coming.
That's AJ's coach, Tom Clues, who'd be a little happier if there were perhaps a little more gap between he and Michael Coe behind him.
If he does have one weakness, it's probably that he can be overconfident in his kick, I think, and leave a little too much toward the end of a race and let some people go. So something we've been working on in his track races and his cross-country races, and if he can eliminate that one chink in his armor, I think he can be pretty tough to beat out there.
Second time up the hill, only a half mile to go. The conclusion of the boys' race on the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships is next.
I was standing in that box.
Telling myself, I belong here. I've worked for this. You just feel your heart pounding. When that gun goes off,
instincts take over.
You're going tree to tree.
Stay focused, keeping the pressure on, keeping the pressure on.
My heart is pumping really fast.
And the crowd is going crazy. I remember making a real bold move. It just blew the race wide open.
You just see that tape coming.
Keep running and don't look back.
It's solidified in my mind that I can compete with anyone.
The Foot Locker Cross Country Championships are brought to you by the San Diego International Sports Council. Where else would you play? Back with Susie Faber-Hamilton and Alan Culpepper, Matt Vasgersian, and guys, AJ Acosta still leading, but does the body English indicate a tired runner?
Oh, absolutely. At this point in the race, you should be tired. The pain is just starting to gnaw at him and nag and nag. He's thinking finish line right now. He can't wait to cross that finish line. But he still has a half mile to go, so, anything can happen, but he's looking awfully good.
Half mile to go, and Michael Coe behind him, but in a distant second place. Coe's going to have to make a move soon.
Definitely. They're getting to that critical moment where the race is going to be decided here in the next 400 meters. But this is the steepest downhill on the course, and as you can tell, it's uncomfortably steep.
Acosta being chased by Michael Coe, Kenny Klotz, and Landon Peacock in the top 4.
Kenny Klotz actually won the Nike Team Nationals, a team race last week in Portland, Oregon. Really muddy, messy conditions, so it's tough for him to come back and run well here again this week.
A.J. Acosta with Coe trying to make a move now. Here comes Coe with a bigger stride.
Well, I think Coe saw it 400 meters ago. He knows, all right, 400 meters, that's only just over a minute of hard running left. They're crossing the road. There's actually a slight incline right here that's hard to tell, but oh, Coe's definitely.
And here comes Coe. Here he comes. He's making his move here. Is there enough left in the tank for Acosta to hold him off? Here comes Michael Coe.
A quick glance by Acosta.
And now he knows he's got it won. A.J. Acosta holds off a late push by Michael Coe to win the Foot Locker Championship.
Both Coe and Acosta clocked a time of 15:02.
It'll be Ryan Craven out of Mount Prospect, Illinois, coming from nowhere to finish 3rd. Kenny Klotz behind him, Landon Peacock. And in a pack then, Jack Bolus, Ben Sittler, Danny Mercado. Boy, the story here, as you can see some other finishers, Michael Eaton, Trudell Ward. The story here, back to A.J. Acosta, the local hero. Great crowd support. And A.J. Acosta holds off that late push by Michael Coe to win it.
Deserve every bit of it, man. Oh my God, deserve every bit of it.
AJ getting a victory hug from his coach.
Give me some loving. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
It's highly unusual to win this race from leading right at the start. It's such a difficult way to run a race. And AJ, being the tough runner he is, he proved it can be done.
I'm here with Michael Coe, 2nd place. Incredible race. How'd you feel out there today?
I felt great. I ran the strategy. I felt really good halfway through the race. I felt like I wasn't even tired at all, just like I wanted to be. You know, AJ made a move early, just like I expected, and all I wanted to do was give myself a chance to win, and I did, but I just didn't quite get it at the end. He ran the last 50 yards, just a little better than me. My legs kind of locked up, but I'll take it. 2nd place is good. You're amazing. You're amazing. Nice last 50 yards.
I'm here with Mark Davis. Mark was the last local guy to win this race 19 years ago in 1986. So Mark, this has got to bring back a little bit of memories with all the hoopla around AJ. Mark's pretty much a flamboyant guy, and it really worked to his advantage when he won back in his day. So how was it to watch today?
Well, besides making the Olympic final, I mean, I've always said this is the greatest highlight of my life. I mean, this is your first national championship. I mean, nobody can ever take that away from you. And the whole country is behind you. The whole sport is behind you. And this is an amazing feeling for Jordan Hesse, for AJ. And it's just going to lead to bigger and better things down the road. You go into college, there's a lot of pressure. But at the same time, and if you're level-headed, which I think Jordan is definitely down the road, and AJ surely is right now, I think that they're both going to do really well. And it's an amazing path ahead. There's Olympic teams to be made, world championships to be done, and I think we've got a good crop of young runners coming up.
All right, guys. Looks good.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you.
A look at the top 6. Jack Bolus, racing out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, finishes in 6th place. Peacock, Klotz, Craven, Coe, all finishing underneath the winner, A.J. Acosta, who's standing by with Allen.
Was it your pre-race plan to set an early hard pace to really force the issue, or was that just the day when you decided, hey, I'm ready to go, I'm going to make it happen today?
That was not the race plan. It was I thought Eaton or Ige was going to take it out real hard, and I was going to catch him later in the race. But I think it was Danny, I'm not sure which one it was, took it out real hard, and I just stuck with him. And my coach said that I really need to close any gaps down here, and so I used that same tactic, but I wasn't closing any gaps. I was trying to build them.
Did you feel pressing at the end, and did that really motivate you to sprint earlier, or were you confident in your kick?
I'm confident in my kick. You know, I think I have the best foot speed out there, and you know, I was telling myself right before the hill I have 1,000 to go, and I just need to push, and so I really tried to work that downhill, and coming back, I knew that he was closing the gap. I could hear them cheering him on. I knew that as they got louder, it was either I was pulling away or he was getting closer. So I assumed that they meant he was getting closer. So I just put in the final kick.
Well, great job. You'll never forget this day. I got to get myself a T-shirt. Good job.
To make it official, the presentation of the championship trophy by Foot Locker's Jeff Sills.
Another convert to the AJ Nation. Congratulations on a great victory, and congratulations on being the men's 2005 Foot Locker cross country champion.
Okay. Final team results. The West wins, followed by the Midwest, South, and Northeast, Susie.
The girls had the same progression as the men, with the West leading it off.
2, 3.
So the 27th annual Foot Locker Cross Country Championships is complete, and Susie, the girls anoint a new champion, a very young champion, and somebody that could be at this event for a long time.
Jordan Hasse won the race, and let me tell you, what an extraordinary athlete she is. 14 years old, a freshman, winning this championships. She has the brightest future ahead of her, and you know what? She is a fabulous person, and the cutest thing, when she finished, she said, "I just want to cry right now. I am so happy."
And Alan, for the boys, a champion that had a lot of enthusiasm here in the crowd, and it's rare to see a guy that has that much attention and that much hoopla win this thing, especially wire to wire.
Yeah, definitely. For a local guy to come through with all of that pressure behind him, to put together a good race, to run tough and finish and win it's really unprecedented. It hasn't happened in 19 years. So what a great race for him.
A great day of cross country in Balboa Park at San Diego for Alan Culpepper, Susie Faber-Hamilton, and on behalf of Nike and Foot Locker, this is Matt Vasgersian thanking you for tuning us in. We'll see you next time.